guys, welcome to another recap of the amazing race. They were in Bangladesh. They all got on a plane and they went to Istanbul, Turkey. You know, formerly Constantinople. Alright, so once they get there, they have to look for the next clue at a ferry terminal. So Abba's knees are paining him pretty bad. And it's not just this leg of the race. They've been hurting for a few legs now. Kind of makes it hard to race. Alright, so Abby and Ryan, we find out, don't like anyone. It's okay, not many people really like them either, but there seems to be a lot of hate between Abby and Ryan, twinnies, and the two, the rockers, James and Abba. Alright, so the evil twins, while they were at the travel agent, noticed that there was some American money on the desk. And I'm pretty sure they knew that it was the rockers' money. But they picked it up and didn't say a word anyway. One of the twins was like, hey, who dropped this? And the other one was like, shut up. So she was kind of the evil one. They took their money. And I guess they were hoping it was Abby and Ryan's, but they didn't seem to be too upset that it was the rockers. So they had to actually beg for money. Now, where the hell do you beg for money in Bangladesh? It's a really, really poor country. So I guess they kind of thought about it and went to the financial district, or like, the more rich district, and some people helped them out, and they ended up getting enough money to get them where they needed to go on this leg of the race. So the evil twins, so that they wouldn't feel so bad, ended up splitting the money with Trey and Lexi. That's so uncool. Everybody's on the same flight though, so it doesn't really matter. Nobody's like behind or anything at that point. So once they get to Istanbul, they have to decide whether they're going to take the metro or taxi. Two teams decided to take the metro, and that was the Monster Truckers and the Chippies, the Chippendales. And when the Chippendales started talking to some people and asking about, what they thought was faster, they actually jumped off the metro and decided to take a taxi, which was a good idea because the taxi was definitely faster. So the Monster Truckers got to most of the things in last place. So Turkey is kind of a weird country because it's in two different continents. It's in Europe and it's in Asia. So they started out in Asia. They had to go take the ferry to Europe and then come back to Asia. Kind of a waste of time, but that's the whole show, isn't it? Alright, so the next clue was at the Spice Bazaar, which is a market. And they had to go to booth number 14 where they got a box of Turkish Delight. Looked like a bunch of spices. Alright, there's a speed bump for Josh and Brent, which was eat 2 scoops of Turkish ice cream each. But in Turkey, they're a little wacky with the food. They serve their ice cream in a tricksy way. The guy puts on like a little show and it's all cutesy, and I guess they all do the same thing and they try and rub it on your wiener. It was really weird. So at first they went to the wrong ice cream guy, so they had to eat an ice cream cone for nothing, and then when they realized that they made a mistake, they had to go back to the marked booth and eat it from there and go through the whole humiliation of having it rubbed on their wiener all over again. So it's a detour, kids. It's either sim it or scrub it. So now in sim it, I actually have a little experience with this because my sister-in-law and brother-in-law lived in Turkey for 2 years. And I've heard about these Turkish bagels that have cinnamon on them. I know this. My sister-in-law said that she would not buy them because they were often covered in flies. A lot of people dropped them off of the tray on their heads and picked them up and put them back on and still sold them. And you know what's on the ground in Turkey? Everyone's feces. So she would not buy them. So I can relate to this leg of the race. Only 2 teams decided to do that, and that was Josh and Brent and Rob and Kelly, and it really wasn't that difficult. Except that the Beekman boys got kind of lost and had a little major freak-out control necessary, but other than that, it was okay. Now, scrub it we've all heard of the Turkish baths. They are brutal. The two people on the team had to endure a brutal bathing after collecting the bath items, and I'm surprised they had any skin left after this. I know that my kids all got Turkish robes when as presents, and they are actually quite luxurious, but I can imagine what you'd have to go through to get those. Alright, so next clue was at a fountain at, I think it was the same Spice Bazaar. They all look the same to me, don't they? So it was a roadblock. You had to dress up like a Turkish person and serve 40 glasses of Turkish sherbet, which is like a fruity type of tea. And they had these big brass serving things that they carry on their shoulder. And Ryan's top kept falling off the top of his, and it was a little uncomfortable. Because if you're not good at selling, it was really hard to do. But Lexi was really good at it. She finished pretty quickly. Now James, on the other hand, the chippy, he wasn't too good at it, which is really surprising. He almost seemed kind of shy, which is really unbelievable. If you can take your clothes off in front of screaming women, you can't sell 40 cups of fruity soda without the fizz. Weird. Alright, so the pit stop was at this dock where there was this giant boat that I'm pretty sure was important, or at least belonged to somebody important. Does it really matter? I don't think so. In first place, Trey and Lexi, they squeaked in there. They won a trip for 2 to Australia. That's definitely on my bucket list, although my bucket's pretty small because I don't want to be on a plane for 1,000 hours. Alright, Abby and Ryan came in second. James and Abba came in third. Natalie and Nadia came in fourth. Fifth place, the Chippies, James and James. Josh and Brent and Rob and Kelly were pretty much dead even at the end when it came to selling the sherbet. And if Josh and Brent hadn't gotten out and directed traffic to get their taxi out of the gridlock, I don't think they would have come in 6th place, but they did. So that really, you know, ensured that they would not be in last place. But Rob and Kelly were eliminated because they came in last, which really, I didn't really like them to begin with, but now I can tolerate them because he seemed to really be not as bad as the persona that he put out there for everybody else, so I felt bad for them. Next time on the race, they are going to Moscow. Yet. Josh and Brent and Abby and Ryan have a little setback next leg. They have to take a later flight. Oh no! Is it going to affect the race? We'll have to tune in and see. And James and Abba, they lose all their stuff. Deja vu. Till next time, much love.